There are so many wireless microphones, it's a little bit insane. I mean, there's DJI, Rode Wireless Go, Holyland, Comica, Godox, whatever these are, and so much more. But the question is, which do you actually pick? An even better question, does it really matter? Because underneath the surface, they are all kind of the same mic. They are all 24-bit audio, at least 300 meters or 1,000 feet line of sight. They all have some type of noise cancellation, although to varied levels of success. But by and large, they are all relatively good. If you were blindfolded and you had to pick one of these, I'd be hard pressed if you picked something that produced really terrible audio. However, what if what you picked happened to be this? Enter the Maono Wave T5. So quick disclaimer here, Maono did send me this wireless microphones for this review. Now, they have no input in my opinions. They get to see this video the same time that you get to see this video. Now, at the time when they sent this wireless microphone, I didn't know that they did wireless microphones. So I was a little bit skeptical about what the quality would turn out to be. After using this for about 3 weeks now, I can tell you this. This is the best wireless microphone I've ever used. And it's what I'm going to be using going forward on this channel because of one feature it has. So that being said, let's get back to the video. At first glance, it shares the same DNA with most of its counterparts. So what makes this particular wireless lavalier microphone any different? You see, the key word here is nuance. We'll start with something little. Most wireless microphones have a mobile phone receiver that you plug into your phone to have your audio recorded on your mobile device. However, when you want to play said audio, you kind of have to take out the receiver to hear what you're listening to. But on the Maono, there's a dedicated feature on the app that allows you to play audio without you having to remove the receiver to hear the audio. Now, this might seem a little bit mundane and like, okay, well, big deal. But if you're doing multiple recordings and you need to check what you're recording every time, you're going to quickly see how this adds up. Another example is noise cancellation. Most wireless microphones usually have 3 or 2 steps of noise reduction. You either have on or off, or it goes from weak, medium, and strong. And they are mostly effective, but at the cost of making your voice sound a little bit unnatural. On the Maono, not only does it do a better job in reducing the noise with minimal unnatural effects to your voice, you get 14 steps of adjustment when it comes to the noise cancellation effect. So you can really dial in the exact amount that you're comfortable with. For all of the similarities this wireless microphone has with all of the others, the one way the Maono Wave Wireless T5 beats most of its competition is in the signal to noise ratio. Now, I'm not going to go too in depth here, but the easier way to understand it is like this. The signal to noise ratio is basically how much of your voice it's picking up in respect to the background audio. The higher this ratio, the more of your voice is going to pick in relation to the noise. While others get to about 70 dB signal to noise ratio, the Maono gets up to 80 dB. That's an extra 10 dB. This means you're getting more of your voice compared to the background, and you don't have to put as much noise reduction, which means you're preserving as much of your voice as you possibly can. And by now, I'm sure you can tell that all the audio you've heard up until this point has been from the Maono Wave T5, straight out of the microphone. However, there's more to that. Let me explain. So right now, this is the audio coming straight directly from the mic, and it sounds how you would expect. You might notice a little bit of a difference in the sound texture of my voice, and you would notice that now. Do you notice anything differently now? This is again still coming straight out of the mic. I'm not doing anything in post. Let's switch it up a little bit to this preset right here. Again, straight out of the mic, and I'm sure you'll be able to tell that the voice sounds a little bit different. Maybe the EQ settings, something about the voice sounds a little bit different. These are part of the features that I love about this particular wireless lavalier microphone. Let's switch it over to this preset. Did you notice any difference across all 4 presets I went with? And again, all of them all coming straight out of the microphone. Well, this is because the microphone actually has inbuilt voice coloration presets. I like to call them EQ presets. The reason why I love these features so much is because if you find a preset that works well for your voice, which you're more than likely going to be able to, then you almost don't need to do anything in post. At most, all you probably need to do is get rid of any of the harsh symbolisms. If you apply something like a deesser, if it even comes across, then you're good to go. And this is, again, another thing I've noticed that I really like about these microphones. They seem to do a really good good job with not making your enunciations very strong and pronounced. So let me switch back to the default preset. Now, initially when I saw this feature, I thought it would have been something like a gimmick, but when I use them, they actually sound really good. And what this immediately sparked up in my brain is I probably don't need to do any more EQ in post. This is something that has directly impacted my workflow. A lot of times I'm constantly fixated on, making my audio sound better, but it ends up adding so much time to my editing process because with each video, I want to improve my audio. I want to have it, sound better. But with this particular wireless microphone, it just sounds how I want it to. Just knowing that I can just get the footage out and my audio is synced up already, sounds exactly how I need it to. I think that's very empowering for people who are just starting out on YouTube. This would be a perfect microphone for you to pick. Now, the Maono Wave T5 doesn't have 32-bit float audio, which is a really great feature in a set and forget type of way. So if you don't know what that means, basically you can kind of set your audios wherever you want them, and no matter how loud you're going to shout, technically you're always going to be able to retrieve that data in post. I know there's more complexities to that, but I don't want to dive into that in this specific video. But this is why people love it, because you're maintaining quality and not distorting. You don't need to care about it, but they still have something that can shield you from distortion. Now, it's not foolproof, but it's better than nothing. When you hear the name, you would think it does a lot more than what the name suggests. It's called Intelligent Explosion Proof Algorithm. That sounds like some weapon that is designed to capture all sound. I would say they should have just done something like safety track, but I think that might require some type of internal recording. So given its form factor, I don't think so. Have I experienced clipping on this? Yes, I have. If you set your level in such a way that it's always in the red, you're definitely going to get some distortion, but it does try to reel things back in a way where the distortion effect is not as pronounced. So just stick to the standards and make sure that your audio levels are where they need to be when you're recording. So if we were to pick up one of these, what do you get in the box? You get a premium unboxing experience. Now, the thing with most of these wireless lavalier microphones, they kind of all come with the same thing. The Hollyland, Maono, DJI, Godox, even Rode Wireless Go, they tend to come with the same amount of accessories. And what I mean is you're always going to see them have a pair of necklaces, pair of clips, magnet plates to be able to pin this anywhere on your shirt, which is like my favorite mounting option on there. And you get the camera receiver on there. And they usually have some type of physical knob to adjust the volume or gain of the microphone. You also get a pair of wind muffs as well. Now, I want to say this. I think any and every wireless microphone company out there should take this advice. There are two people that have done this correctly, Godox and DJI mic pin. When you're putting on the wind muffs, it's not on the entire microphone, it's just on the capsule. This is the only realistic way you should have your wind muffs. This particular design where it covers the entire microphone, it does not work, bro. You can't access any of the buttons. And sometimes you're going to accidentally press some of the buttons, and how would you know if you've pressed something and you covered it? Now you don't know whether you've turned on something you didn't want to turn on. And then if you want to turn it off, you have to open it again, which is very difficult. It is a mess. For this reason, I'll never use the wind muffs. I don't like this design at all. This is not specifically directed to Maono. Other wireless microphone companies do it as well. Hollyland does it as well. All of you stop it. I'm begging you, just don't do it. Okay, thank you. Pro tip, if you're in a windy scenario and you don't want to have to struggle with those wind muffs, reverse it this way and you have a completely shielded capsule. Now in the box, you also get two transmitters, two receivers. So you get the USB-C version and a USB Lightning version. So if you had an Apple or an Android device, you're covered on there. And then you also get the one camera receiver, and it would also come with an aux cable that will allow you to record directly into the camera. I have it going straight into the camera, and this is how I'm always going to use it. With a USB receiver, you can plug this to your Android device like so. One feature that tends to come with most of these microphones, it's not just unique to this, I've seen this before, is that it has a USB-C outlet that allows you to charge the phone while you're using the receiver. So if you're having this being recorded over a long session, you don't have to worry about battery life because you can charge and record that way as well, which is a nice feature to have. And then you get the case that houses everything. You also get a bunch of cables too. You get the charging cable for the case itself, and yes, the stickers. These ones are actually useful. Most of the other brands, they would have flashy stickers, which, is not the worst thing in the world. If you want to have some personality or character to your wireless microphone, go ahead. But if you want something that's a little bit more understated, you don't want to have the logo showing, these ones actually come with black and white stickers. So depending on which one works best for you. So all this while I've been speaking in a controlled environment. There's not much going on around. I mean, there's like fridge, AC and things like that. With the noise reduction that I've turned on here, it does a good job in taking care of all of those things. So we can move on to talk about other things about, what's that? You want me to test this outside? Why? I'm almost never using it outside. Just because you see other YouTubers doing that, you think I'm going to do it. No, I'm not doing it. I had already made up my mind before this video that I'm not going to do an outdoor test just like every Are you happy now? So basically this would be a good test. Right now it's very windy. There's a lot of noise going on around. So I think this would be an ideal scenario to test just how good the noise reduction on this microphone works. So right now there's no noise reduction. This is what you can expect to get straight out of the mic. So I'm going to turn on some noise reduction now and see how well it does with the noise reduction. So noise reduction is turned on right now, and there's like sirens, there's lots of wind, birds chirping and stuff. So let's see how well it does in removing the audio. Now I will note that it's not the highest noise reduction that's turned on right now. I'm going to change it to the strong noise reduction and let's see what we get. So right now I have strong noise reduction on. This is the maximum level. There's an airplane going up right now. I for sure know it's going to capture lots of this. Like there's only so much noise reduction you can do. But yeah, I guess this is a real good stress test to see how well it's able to get rid of any of that background noise. The other thing I wanted to test is the wind muffs. Yeah, so this is a test with the wind muffs on, and let's see how well it performs in shielding away most of that wind. There's a lot of wind actually blowing right now, so does it do a good job? Guys, let me know in the comments. This is an example of when you reverse it on your shirt, and that way your shirt is going to act like the actual shield. And now it's just a tiny dot, so it's a better way to kind of conceal the mic. I'm under the shade. I don't want to stay under the sun. You can see how hot it is. This is just to give you some type of comparison between using the wind muffs and using your shirt as a windshield. So let's see if this is actually a better way of going about it. Now, it can't be all just praise and sunshine and rainbows with the Maono Wave T5. It certainly has to have some issues. No, it doesn't, man. It is absolutely perfect. There's nothing I can point to. Okay, I'm kidding. There's some things in terms of what it delivers, audio quality, features, all that good stuff. I can't find anything that I can fault these for. Maybe you could say the lack of 32-bit audio, that could be something. But for most of the competition that are in that particular tier, I'm speaking specifically about the mini tier. So like the DJI Mini, the Holyland Lark M2S or something like that. They all do 24-bit audio, which is plenty fine. If you set your levels right, you don't have to worry about that 32-bit audio. And with the explosion-proof algorithm thing they have on there, it can do a fair bit of protection. So that's something I wouldn't really ding this for. It may sound like I'm a little bit biased, but I'm really struggling to drag at things to say, okay, this is a con. One thing, and this is more like a nitpick, I wish everything could fit into one case. You see the Godox S-Cube, these are really great wireless microphones as well. The thing I love most about the Godox S-Cube is how compact and tiny these things are. This is everything in the box. You can put everything in it. The wind muffs, the clips, the actual transmitter in the case, right? This would just pop out like this, and everything you need is right there. Granted, this doesn't have as many, receivers compared to the Maono, because the Maono has the lightning port, the USB-C port, as well as the camera receiver. So obviously it's going to need a bigger box, but I just love how compact this is compared to the Maono Wave T5. So you can see the Maono Wave T5 is bigger and it still doesn't contain everything. It comes with an extra pouch where you have to put like extra cables on there. I wish the cases were a little bit bigger so that you can put the wind muffs in them. Now, a few tips I wanted to give you if you decided to pick the Maono Wave T5, and this is not only unique to this is to any of the wireless microphones that show the 24-bit audio high-res feature. And this is something I haven't really seen any YouTuber talk about. I may be wrong, but this is just my own observation. Now, you are not actually capturing audio in 24-bit. I know, right? Here's the reason why. If you're recording to your phone or your camera, those devices capture audio in 16-bit audio. It doesn't matter whether it has a 24-bit audio feature, you're going to be capturing in 16-bit. So how do you overcome this issue? First way is if you're doing it on your phone. So you have an Android device. I'm currently using the Samsung S25, and by the way, this phone is amazing. I've been using an iPhone for probably like 7-8 years, and switching over to this, I was completely blown away how amazing that experience was, and seamless, which was one of my biggest fears. Stick around if you want to see my review for this. It's coming up soon. I think you're going to love that video. But not to digress, if you're using an Android device, the best thing you want to do is you want to download an app called Road Reporter. So far, I've checked the length and breadth of the Android store, and this is the only app that just straight up allows you to capture 24-bit audio with no hassle. You don't have to pay anything. Straight up, get this app, and this way you can ensure that you're actually capturing in 24-bit audio. The second way is if you have the receiver plugged to your computer. So if you have it on your computer and you're using something like Audacity, when you're setting your preferences, you can set it to capture in 24-bit audio. But is this a huge bummer for me? No, because once I've listened to the audio, I can't really tell the difference. But again, like I said, if you're a purist, these are the two ways I've seen that you're able to ensure that you're capturing 24-bit audio. So after using the Maono Wave T5 for around like 3 weeks, what are my final thoughts? I'll tell you right now, I 100% recommend this wireless microphone. This is what I'm going to be using for this channel going forward. They're just so good. I've used quite a number of wireless microphones over time on this channel, and this is by far the best sounding one, period. Where I feel the Maono really shines is in things like noise cancellation. I think it's one of the best low-key, and I don't think I see too much about that side on YouTube. When it comes to the noise cancellation, compared to most of the other wireless microphones, it doesn't introduce that unnatural feeling to your voice, and I think that's really impressive. Though my preference would be always to do noise reduction in post in something like DaVinci Resolve. If I have that, if you don't have like those softwares, this would be a good option to fall back on. The other thing is the voice coloration. Turns out it's really good, and that's what I'm using right now. If you get these wireless microphones, play around with the presets and see which one works best for you. You'd find out that you probably don't need to do almost anything in post. At most, probably you do something like de-erser to get rid of the symbolisms, and probably a compressor if you want to do that. It just makes your workflow very easy. Now, one tip I will recommend is if you are wanting to get like the absolute cheapest version of this that allows you the widest compatibility, I recommend you get the one that just comes with the camera receiver, because with the camera receiver you also get a USB-C cable that allows you to plug the receiver to your phone, so you can record on your phone, and if you want to record on your camera, obviously you just plug it to the camera through the 3.5mm jack. So that way you don't need to buy the combo that comes with a separate USB-C receiver. So I couldn't recommend this wireless microphone enough. Like if you're just starting on YouTube, if you've gone through all these videos and you're a little bit confused, just order these microphones. You will not be disappointed. Hopefully this video helped you to make a decision. If you wanted to pick up one of these, I'll definitely have links in the description. The channel will benefit from those purchases, no extra cost to you, but goes a huge way in helping the channel. And if you like videos like this, subscribe and like to the channel, do all that good stuff. Stay safe and have a great time.